Hello everybody, my name is Nijad and this is my review of First Aid Forward Step 2. And might as well just get started. A little bit about myself. I do a lot of study coaching. I studied a lot in medical school. I'm a fourth year. Hopefully will graduate pretty soon. And I'm a big fan of first aid, of course, and also of McGraw-Hill in general. So I reached out to First Aid Forward and I asked to try this product out, and I'm very grateful that they are letting me try it out. And so I'm going to go over some of my initial impressions for the step 2 portion. Of course, there is a step 1 portion. I'm going to focus on step 2. I took step 2 in March, on March 27th, 2023, something like that, and I scored a 273. And I used a lot of these McGraw-Hill products, and so I think that they are very useful, especially if you use them wisely and have a good study system in place. So we'll begin just by, this dashboard here. With First Aid Forward Step 2, you have access to 3 different textbooks, and they're all very useful in their own ways. So of course you have USMLE Step 2 CK, which is, I think, an excellent and underutilized tool. It's kind of like the first aid that we all know for step 1, but this is obviously for step 2 CK. Now there's also this textbook all about clinical algorithms, and then this one all about clinical pattern recognition. And the nice thing about this is that these are all integrated. All right, so for example, we'll just use cardiovascular here as a example subject, right? But we have all these subjects and they're organized A to Z alphabetically, but we'll just, for purposes of demonstration, look at cardiovascular. You can see that there's 83 high yield topics, 79 clinical algorithms, and 70 clinical patterns. Okay, and you can see that in bold here are all the high yield topics, and these are also organized A through Z alphabetically. Okay, and then what do we see in association with each of these high yield topics? Well, we see these 3 books integrated. So that's what's very nice about this, is that for each high yield topic you have proper mapping from each of the 3 textbooks to that high yield topic. So let's just scroll down here and just pick a random one. Aortic stenosis, sure. So anytime you see this icon here, that's coming from the USMLE Step 2 CK First Aid, like, traditional book. This book right here that we all are very familiar with, at least for the First Aid Step 1 version. Okay, this obviously you can see, given this icon, we can zoom in a little bit. That's all about the clinical algorithms. And then clinical pattern recognition is this stethoscope, okay? So this stethoscope right here. So one way to, so let's say you're going to study aortic stenosis at this time. What I would do is probably click right here, and I'll be taken straight to, and you can see here this box right here. So we're straight to aortic stenosis. You can change the font size. okay, if you like bigger or smaller. And of course, you can read all about aortic stenosis. There's all sorts of things you can do in terms of annotation, highlighting, underlining, box, circle, place mark, notes, and you could even read the selected text. Of course, you could read the whole page as well.
Valvular heart disease. Subtypes
And
of
you can
valvular
change
heart disease appear in Table 2.1 to
speed.
28 along with their
I like that. And I really like that these key facts are here as well. I would probably just highlight all these key facts, to be honest with you, red. And because they're important, and also because anything you highlight or take notes on, you can export as a PDF. So if you read through this whole book and you have you've highlighted all the key facts, and you can export all the key facts and study those, maybe make Anki cards out of them, etc., etc. There's a lot of things you can do. So here's aortic stenosis, and then that's of course one of the three axes when it comes to this high yield topic, right? And what I mean by that is that right now we are in this book, right? And the 11th edition is the most recent one, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. But there's still the two other books that cover aortic stenosis, so that's why this tab right here is extremely important, because we were just here, right? We were just here. Now we were just here under valvular heart disease, and that's within first aid step 2. But if you want to see the algorithm that covers aortic stenosis, right? What's ever in bold here is going to be the high yield topic. Then you can go to this next book, and you can see aortic stenosis right here. We can make it a little bigger. And if you want, you can just have this read to you.
An 80-year-old M with PMH of coronary artery disease, HTN, an extent.
All right, so that's something that's useful. And what's really nice, of course, for step 2 is that we have to know a lot of management. So management is here, complications are here, and then these are kind of like key facts, but high yield facts. This is, I'm assuming this stands for high yield fact. These are also probably worth highlighting, or for future export. Yeah, that's pretty nice, actually. Very good. Something else too that I don't know for sure is in the print books is for diagrams like this. Like here we can see, like for diagrams like this, there's like long descriptions too, which I'm not sure if that's necessarily in the print book. They might be, but it's certainly it's not something I've seen really. And then of course, if we go to aortic stenosis, so we've covered 2, right? We've covered 2. We've covered aortic stenosis. We've covered 2 of the axes, right? We looked at it in this first aid step 2 CK book. We looked at it in terms of algorithms, and now we're going to look at it in terms of the cases, or pattern recognition, I'm sorry. So of course you can go here, click this, go to topics, and then we had looked at this already, pattern recognition, dyspnea, and it will take us specifically to, you can see here this box, to aortic stenosis. Okay, something I like to do sometimes is turn on dark reader, but it's okay. My eyes are okay right now. So this is very useful because it's a case. You get to see differential diagnoses, similar presentations. You see initial diagnostic testing, next steps in management, and a pretty detailed discussion as well. And then, of course, also additional considerations. And you know, that's quite a lot of information for just one topic of aortic stenosis. So I think that, you know, this is actually a very useful resource, and it's pretty comprehensive. There is a quiz, there's quiz questions too. I would not say that they're USMLE style questions. They're more like, you know, kind of test your knowledge type thing. They're not a substitute for your traditional question banks like UWorld, AMBOSS, and like NBME questions. So, but they're useful. I mean, especially if you're learning for the first time. Let's see if we can do one now. Probably something like that. That's PE. I don't think that's true. Left ventricle. This is an inferior wall MI. Oh, depression. Yay. Okay. So that's cool. You know, these are fun. You know, you can learn just by doing these. You can learn some things. Not a complication he might experience within 10 days. These take quite a while. So the thing is too is like you have to the thing is too is like there is an educational objective. There is explanations. So it's useful. You know, it's useful especially if you're just starting out and learning. So it's useful. One other thing I wanted to show is, of course, you know, we have all these high yield topics, clinical algorithms, clinical patterns, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. You know, there's a lot to study in medical school. There's a lot to be responsible for, especially on these USMLE exams. So one thing I built that I want to show is this. It's a public site on Notion. Everyone can use it for free. Copy, duplicate, paste, download, export, upload, do whatever you want with it. But it's just supposed to help you if you have a First Aid Forward subscription, which, by the way, Nijad 15 will get you 15% off if you're interested. But I have, you know, by subject, I built these tables with like the number of topics, clinical algorithms, clinical patterns, quiz questions, so you can kind of track your progress. And I have the same thing also for the step 1, which I cover in a different video. Okay, and then I also have this, which requires Notion AI, which, you know, not everyone will will want to, I think it's like $10 a month or something. So this is not necessary, okay? But it's just something fun in terms of like, having AI kind of help you. Like, okay, develop a 4-week study plan for USMLE, first aid, step 2 CK, subject, let's just say, um, let's choose gastrointestinal. That'll be fun. Okay, gastrointestinal. Incorporate high yield topics, clinical algorithm, clinical patterns. Okay. So it's kind of like a, study, gives you like, a study plan, etc. Of course, you can rest and reflect. Rest and reflect is very important. And, of course, depending on the prompt you use and whatever, the output is going to vary wildly, but that's just something for fun. I think probably something more useful is this database, which is also free to export, free to download, free to do whatever you want with it. Because it's not useful if you don't have First Aid Forward, honestly. But if you do have First Aid Forward, then it could prove very useful, especially if you have certain start days and start and end dates. So for example, let's say I'm on my peds rotation and I start it tomorrow, and let's say I end pediatrics in, I don't know, let's say like April 1st. Okay. I built this database such that it'll calculate the days between your start and end dates and get you a number of days, and then it'll take the number of high yield topics for pediatrics and essentially do some division and give you a number of, you have to do, between 3 and 4 high yield topics per day to cover all the high yield topics for pediatrics within this time frame. And then if you want to keep track of your progress, every day you can kind of come and, let's say tomorrow you do 4, let's say tomorrow, and then the day after you do like 6 more, etc. So, this will hopefully by April 1st you'll get to, 100% or whatever. So that's for the first pass. Second pass is optional. You don't have to do 2 passes. You might even want to do, you don't have to do 2 passes, or you might want to do 3 passes if it's a subject that you're not particularly comfortable with. But the second pass, it works very similarly. You'll keep like this progress bar, and it's not, like I said, it's not necessary. Just note that if you want to do 2 passes, whatever this number is here, just make sure you multiply it by 2, obviously. Okay, so let's just say 7. So you'd have to do 7 high yield topics per day. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, if we're going here and we go to pediatrics, okay, this is one high yield topic, this is another, this is another, this is another, 4. So our number was 3.4. So I'd say, well, you could just do 1, 2, 3, 4 and read everything associated with that high yield topic. So not only is it the high yield topic, of course you're responsible for the high yield topic, but I would learn about this high yield topic through each of these 3 modalities. Okay? And we have to go back forward. So if that makes sense. All right? And with this, okay, it's okay. No problem. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, so here we are. So with each of these modalities, so if you're doing 4 per day, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, you would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In this example, you'd read like 10 pages. And this is just, to learn. And if you're consistent and you do, a good amount each day and you stick to the plan, you will do very well. And if you couple this with, let's say, a very strong question bank and, let's say, Anki, if you like to do Anki, well, that's a whole separate discussion. But if you do Anki every day in terms of ensuring that you're retaining all the material that you're learning, you should do very well. So I hope this gives you an idea of what First Aid Forward is all about. And um, don't be afraid to reach out to me on any of my social media platforms if you have any further questions. And I'd like to thank McGraw-Hill and First Aid Forward again for allowing me to get access to this and do a review. Thank you and take care, everybody.